Well, hello friends and welcome to another episode of Cycling Insider. In this episode, I will make a comparison between two excellent road bikes. So we will have a giant TCR Advanced Disc 1 Plus Pro versus Canyon Ultimate CF SL8 Disc. Both of these bikes, as I say, are absolute legend when it comes to road bikes. And then at the end of this episode, I will definitely give you my opinion which one of these bikes you should just go ahead and buy. So we can start by discussing who are these bikes for. So as you see, Canyon Ultimate platform and also Giant TCR platform are both lightweight climbing machines, also expected to be on the stiffer side of carbon frame and the fork. But if you are looking for this type of the bike, if you spend a lot of your days, climbing some steep mountains, then definitely you should consider Canyon Ultimate range or Giant TCR range. I will just mention here that this Giant TCR Advanced Disc 1 Plus Pro bike is an absolute mouthful of bike names, and I think this is one of the longest bike names I have ever seen in the industry. Okay, but jokes aside, let's kick off with the retail prices of these bikes. So the Giant TCR has a retail price of $4,050 while Canyon Ultimate is $3,500. So as you see, approximately $500 difference between these two bikes, but we will see when we dive into the specifications what is the secret sauce of each of these bikes. Also, when you look at the paint schemes on these bikes, on the Giant TCR, you only have one paint scheme to choose from, and this is this very classical black paint scheme, absolutely blacked out bike. I mean, it's a decent paint scheme, but then again, would be nice to have at least a choice of few paint schemes, and it's a similar story with this Canyon. As I see now, there's only one paint scheme on offer, this kind of metallic gray, or they call it true gray paint scheme with a hint of black. Again, a decent paint scheme, but I would hope another choice of a paint scheme would be really nice between these two bikes. Now we can dive into the specifications of these bikes and really see what do you get for your hard-earned money. So we can kick off with the Giant TCR, and we are kicking off with the frame and the fork on the bikes. So this carbon fiber frame is the advanced grade carbon fiber from Giant, and also the fork is the advanced grade carbon fiber with the full carbon fiber steer. Of course, this carbon frame from Giant has an internal cable routing, a press fit bottom bracket, and also 12mm through axles front and the back with the flat mount disc brakes. I will also mention here that all Giant carbon fiber frames forks come with their lifetime warranty, which is absolutely excellent. Now we can have a look at the Canyon Ultimate. What is it with this bike when it comes to the carbon fiber frame and the forks on this bike? So, with the frame, it is the Canyon's CF SL carbon frame and also the Canyon's CF carbon fiber fork. Internal cable routing, 12mm through axles again front and the back, and flat mount disc brakes, and also we have a press fit bottom bracket in this case. There is a big difference here because Canyon's carbon frames and forks come with a 6 years warranty compared to the Giant's, which is a lifetime warranty. So just keep that in mind if you are really worried about the warranty on your bike. Now let's talk about some of the smaller components on the bike, like the handlebar stem, saddle, and the seat post. So when you look at the Giant TCR, the handlebar is the Giant Contact and also stem a Giant Contact. Both of these pieces are aluminum pieces, separate pieces, perfectly fine, and I like these separate pieces because nothing is proprietary, everything is easy to replace or upgrade, and also since you're gonna have to adjust the position on the bike when you have a separate pieces of handlebar and the stem, super easy to do it. These pieces are aluminum. Personally, I don't have any problems with this, but if it really bothers you, then okay, you'll have to upgrade in the future. Briefly about the seat post and the saddle. The seat post is Giant's carbon fiber seat post, and the saddle is the Giant Approach saddle. Giant makes some good saddles recently, and I hope you will like this saddle. But worst case scenario is that saddles are a personal preference, so it is very easy to replace this saddle in the future. And of course, as I said, a carbon fiber seat post, always excellent choice because it's going to soak up so much of the road bumps. Now let's have a look at the Canyon Ultimate and some of the smaller pieces on the bike, like the cockpit, seat post and the saddle. So in this case, the cockpit on Canyon is the Canyon's H36 or CP10. As I see, this will depend on the current availability of the cockpit, but keep in mind this, it is a carbon fiber piece, it is an aero cockpit, so it's a one-piece handlebar and the stem. This is definitely a proprietary piece. It will heavily limit your options in the future if you want to upgrade or change anything, or you want to adjust the position on the bike. So just keep in mind that these one-piece aero handlebar and the stem are of course very nice looking and good for your aerodynamics, but it's a proprietary piece, so you might have problems, as I say, if you want to adjust the position and if you want to replace anything in the future. When you look at the seat post and the saddle, the seat post is the Canyon's carbon fiber S13 seat post, superb choice, gonna soak up a lot of road bumps, smaller ones. And Selle Italia saddle SLR boost, again superb choice, no problems here. Very famous saddle, a very good saddle, so I hope you will like this saddle. Again, if not, easy to replace with your preferred saddle. Now let's have a look at the group set on both of these bikes, and we can kick off with the Giant. So shifters, front mech and the rear mech, everything is Shimano's Ultegra mechanical group set. So this is 11-speed group set from Shimano, superb group set, no complaints here from me. It's gonna work absolutely fine. It's a similar situation when you look at the Canyon Ultimate. So front mech, shifters and the rear mech, everything is Shimano's Ultegra mechanical group set, Shimano's Ultegra R8000 11-speed group set. And I will only mention here when it comes to the Canyon that the rear mech is a short cage, so the maximum cassette you can use is a 32-tooth cassette. Now let's have a look at the braking system on both of these bikes. So on the Giant TCR, you are having a Shimano Ultegra hydraulic disc brakes with very basic Shimano rotors, like Shimano RT64 braking rotors, and 160 millimeters at the front, and unfortunately only 140 millimeters at the back. I have no clue why Giant did this 140mm rotor at the back, because my advice is to use it. Once when you destroy it, just replace it with 160mm braking rotor, and also buy yourself a good Shimano Ultegra level rotors, just because of good heat dissipation and great stopping power. Ultimately, you want 160mm rotors both front and the back because of, as I said, good heat dissipation and an excellent stopping power. On another side, when you look at the braking system of the Canyon bike, here you are getting a Shimano's Ultegra, again, hydraulic disc brakes, superb hydraulic disc brakes, but here we have a Shimano's MT800 braking rotors, so these are from the Shimano's mountain bike world, excellent braking rotors, Ice Tech, Ice Freezer technology, superb heat dissipation, and as I see, 160mm rotors both front and the back. So definitely a better choice here because they didn't cut corners with the quality of the rotors or the size of the rotors. Now let's talk about the cassette, chain and the crankset on these bikes. We can kick off with the Giant TCR. So with the Giant TCR you are getting a Shimano 105 cassette, 11-speed cassette. This is 1130 cassette paired with the KMC X11EL chain. Perfectly fine chain and perfectly fine Shimano 105 cassette, although they've cut corners a little bit here by using Shimano 105 level cassette and not Shimano Ultegra. And when it comes to the crankset, Giant has used the Shimano's RS510 crankset, so this crankset sits way below Shimano Ultegra level. This is a 3652 crankset paired with the 1130 cassette, so in my opinion you should be able to climb some steep mountains. If you really need a lower gear, then definitely change the cassette to 1132 cassette. So as you see, a bit of mix and match of parts with the Giant, as I said, Shimano 105 cassette and the Shimano's RS510 crankset. On the other hand, when you look at the Canyon Ultimate, the cassette is the Shimano's Ultegra R8000 1130 cassette, absolutely no cutting corners here. Crankset, Shimano's Ultegra R8000, and also here the secret sauce of including a power meter. 4 III power meter included with this crankset, which is absolutely superb when you consider the retail price of $3,500. And the chain, again, no cutting corners here, Shimano's HG701 11-speed chain in this situation. So definitely Canyon didn't cut corners. The full group set with cassette, crankset, and the chain is the Shimano's Ultegra group set. And briefly here, since I'm just checking this with the Canyon carbon fiber frame, it is a press fit PF86.5 bottom bracket. They are using a Token Ninja Light bottom bracket. Should be perfectly fine. I'm not expecting any special problems with this. Now let's talk about the wheel set on both of these bikes. So with the Giant, you are getting the Giant SLR2 42 carbon wheel set. So this carbon wheel set from Giant is definitely a secret sauce of this bike, because for a retail price of approximately $4,000, you are getting a carbon fiber wheel set on this bike. As I said, carbon wheels with the hookless Giant technology. Of course, it is tubeless ready, and Giant has prepared it tubeless already. So there should be no problems in this. And I would just mention that it is 42 millimeters rim height, 19.4 millimeters inner rim width, and also it comes with the Giant sealed cartridge bearing hubs, front and the back, where the rear one has a 3-pole system. And this wheel set with the 12 millimeter through axles front and the back, 24 SAPIM spokes, and the total weight is 1,545 grams. Very competitive weight for this carbon wheel set. As I say, absolutely superb choice and a secret sauce. Now let's look at the wheel set on the Canyon Ultimate. So you are getting a DT Swiss P1800 spline wheel set. So this DT Swiss wheel set is a classical aluminum wheel set from DT Swiss. If you buy it on the open market, it would be approximately $500. An approximate weight of this wheel set is, let's call it 1,600, 1,700 grams. Some of the highlights include that this wheel set, as I said, aluminum wheel set with 23 millimeters rim height and 18 millimeters internal rim width. Also, it comes with the DT Swiss 370 hubs, superb hubs with 12 millimeter through axles front and the back, 3-pole system from DT Swiss, and of course the wheel set is tubeless compatible, but you will need to provide your own tubeless tape and tubeless valves. So you see this distinction between aluminum wheel set DT Swiss P1800 on Canyon Ultimate, and also you have a carbon fiber wheel set on the Giant TCR, Giant's own SLR2 carbon fiber wheel set. Now let's talk about the tires on both of these bikes. So you see, with the Giant, you are getting a Giant Course 1 tubeless tire, which is a 28 millimeter tire. Excellent choice because you're going to have a lot of air volume in this tire, so it's going to soak up a lot of smaller road bumps. And on the other hand, with the Canyon, you are getting, I think it's a, yes, it is a Continental Grand Prix 5000 tire, again 28 millimeter tire, so superb air volume, and also it's going to soak up a lot of the road bumps. And this is a very supple Continental Grand Prix 5000 tire with TPI of 330. Excellent stuff here in both cases. I mean, no special complaints from the both of these bikes. I will just mention ultimately that the total weight of these bikes, I would expect it to be something about 7.6 kilograms in some kind of size medium large, and I think Canyon is already claiming about 7.6 kilograms in some kind of size, as I said, medium large size. So it is a pretty competitive bike weight. If you add pedals and the bottle cages, expected to be around 8 kilograms for both of these bikes. So now, in a summary, when you consider that this Canyon Ultimate CF SL8 disc has a retail price of $3,500, and the Giant TCR Advanced Disc 1 Plus has a retail price of $4,050. So what would be my recommendation to you? Which one of these bikes should you just go ahead and buy? Well, I have to say that personally, I think you should go ahead and buy the Canyon Ultimate CF SL8 disc with a retail price of $3,500. It's an excellent bike from Canyon with full Shimano Ultegra mechanical group set, excellent DT Swiss aluminum wheels, and also you are getting a power meter included with this crankset. I have to mention that if you really want carbon fiber wheels on a bike, then definitely you gotta go with the giant TCR, because these carbon fiber wheels are the secret sauce of this giant bike. Unfortunately, there's a bit of mix and match parts from, Shimano 105 group set, Shimano's RS crankset, and some of the braking discs which are not on the Shimano Ultegra level, so that's why I would personally go with the Canyon Ultimate CF SL8 disc. So I think this is going to be it for today. I hope you like what I'm doing, and if you do, keep on watching, keep on liking, and as always, I will see you soon in the next episode. Cheers!